ourselves a treat.
I don't know what's going on. StreamYard is acting a little bit weird tonight. I have no idea what's happening. Moose, do you know what's happening?
I don't know. It might be an update I just installed.
Oh, hey, that's cool. So yeah, there's a First National flying in the background.
It's not supposed to be moving.
There's a cannon. There's a cannon.
I didn't do that
Adam's
either.
head's in the way, but there's a cannon. What's next? There goes Adam.
We lost
Battle
Adam.
flag. Battle flag. First National's back.
Well, we'll figure it out. Before we get started.
John C. Calhoun on a Confederate note. Oh, we're getting
he scares me.
I didn't know the update could do all that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. So we are rocking and rolling with a little bit more professional of a layout. Now, content, I don't know so much. But hey, before we get started, the views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those. The SCV, its GEC, any division, brigades, camps, subsidiaries, or its executive director, strictly those of us that are expressing them. We've been playing on StreamYard. Really quickly, before we get really kicked off, hello to Frank, hello to John, hello to Al, hello to Jack, hello to Michael C. Hardy, our residential historian. Jason, hello. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, hello. Keith, hello. Sean, the Florida man, hello. Faversham, Carl. Gerald, nice to see you. Ray, Miss Linda, and Kyle. Hope everybody is having a good one. Kyle, I hope you're feeling better. Say anything, Moose?
I'm sorry. I'm sharing all of the stuff out.
Say anything back there, Santa Claus?
Share out the video.
Do what Santa Claus says. Share it out.
That was the creepiest Santa I've ever heard, and I've been to. Anyway, hi Adam.
Well, 5 minutes in, we're already off the rails. Way to go, boys!
Like I said, we may be more professional with the background videos when we put that back up, but definitely not the content. If you're tuning in for the first time, our fourth Monday of the month is our Harth and Home episode, where you, the members of the SCV or friends of the SCV, or anybody who's interested in what's going on at the Sons Confederate Veterans National Headquarters at Historic Elm Springs on the Southern Heritage Campus. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Close enough?
Good.
Pretty good.
We really need that on a t-shirt. Or like we need to type that into a banner so we can put that at the bottom. Anyway, this is where you can learn about what's going on at our Harth and Home. Whether it's new things in the museum, or it's by Moose, or it's new artifacts or different things, a way you could support the museum. Our executive director, who's overworked and underpaid, but went to Mexican tonight, so he can at least afford that. He can explain what all new is going on up there. So, it's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He just lingers.
No, I was talking about you, but
just hurt me a bit, man.
Also, like every Monday of every month, it is Abuse Moose Day.
This is true. I don't know if I've ever had a peaceful Monday for the last almost 4 years.
Getting close. 4 years this National Reunion, which, reminder, everybody, register for National Reunion. Adam's looking forward to giving his report.
Absolutely.
He's already got it. He's already got it done.
Sure. I don't even have my report for the GEC meeting this weekend done. So, yeah.
Oh, that's quote Jerry, or not Jerry Clower, excuse me, to quote Louis Brizard. Damn, brother, I don't believe I'd have told that.
Well, information's changing every day, so I'm going to get
Oh.
the most up-to-date information I can before the meeting. So,
Well, I always enjoy your report at the GEC meetings, and I know that you'll do a great job, and hopefully we see a large tick in numbers and a lower tick in deaths.
Amen.
But we can say that about every year.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. He doesn't abuse me. He treats me right. That's why I like having him on. Be nice.
You don't have to be nice to him. After 2 episodes, you get to abuse Moose.
Is that the official rule? Is that our standard?
We make it up.
Victor,
Oh, yeah.
Victor, that's the result of my walnut syrup right here. This is all I got. This was 3 hours worth of boiling down and evaporating sap to make syrup, and this is what I got.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did you mess up any of Kayla's pots and pans while you were doing that?
I didn't know. You're just boiling down water, basically sugar water, to make syrup, so nothing to mess up.
Well, yes. Yeah, you don't have a black eye, so.
Yeah, you see me breathing, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, she's gonna hate me this weekend when she sees me. She ain't watching.
She ain't watching.
She's watching.
Oh no. Hi.
But funny story, y'all. When the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, Daryl Maple sent me a text the next day that said the Chiefs' winning touchdown drive was on a play called Corn Dog.
That's great.
Yep.
Is she a Taylor Swift fan?
Of course.
Oh, okay. That's sad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to put up with that.
Well, that's the worst thing I had to put up with. We'll be okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have some new artifacts at the museum. Is that right?
Ooh.
Oh, we got a ton of new stuff going on.
Well, what's this?
I don't know. All right, so if you have been to the museum,
That's the point of that episode, Adam. You're supposed to know what's going on in our museum.
well, I have to know what picture is coming up, and this is as much a surprise to me as it is to you which picture will come up first. So this embryo type right here, along with the enlargement you see behind it, and the original letters, are both from a young soldier from the 10th Alabama named Macon Abernathy. He was killed in 1862. He was only 18 years old. And these are his letters. This was where the trousers that Forrest Dawes donated, this was the case that those used to be in. So we've moved those trousers, have them standing in an upright position now, and we put some letters and photographs in this case now. So I think it makes a great display.
Yeah, it really looks good, especially that angle, because now you can look down there, and anytime we have a picture of a Confederate soldier, it puts some real humanity to the war.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And here's another one that's in that same case, another soldier from the 10th Alabama. This is actually an officer from the 10th Alabama, W. Bruton. So C.W. Bruton, excuse me. But I believe he survived the war, but great to have these original photographs. And we did get them out of the cases and did scan those, so we have these digitized, and hopefully we'll work on building those Confederate images into some sort of online catalog that can be searchable in the future.
Confederacy at the home front.
Yeah. This is a new case that we're putting together. The Order of the Southern Cross purchased 10 new cases, or gave us a grant for 10 new cases for our museum. And we have some great civilian items. This is a collection of some things. We're still adding to it right now. We've only had the cases for about 3 weeks now. So we're working to add these items from things that were around on the home front. You see a measuring cup, a candle mold, a plantation dinner bell, a piece of coverlet, a child's doll, and then you see some children's school books that were printed in the 1860s. That one in the top left corner, and I think we have an enlargement of that, Moose.
Yeah.
This is really neat because it was printed in 1865 when paper was scarce, and you can see wallpaper in the construction of the book. And there's an enlargement there to the right of what that wallpaper looks like in the cover. And compatriot Joe Ringhofer from Mobile donated that to the museum. So I think that makes a great addition to this section of the museum.
Is the doll haunted?
I haven't tested that yet, so haven't seen any ghosties yet. Who knows? Now this came through postage around Christmas time, and we're getting it into a case. This is a letter that was signed by Booker T. Washington, and it was addressed to Albert T. Goodwin, who was a commander-in-chief for the United Confederate Veterans. And Goodwin was involved in Alabama politics. He was also, as I said, a commander-in-chief of the United Confederate Veterans. Even when he was not involved in politics, he was a proponent and supporter of black education. And I think that's what a lot of the left tend to forget. These Confederate veterans did not hate the black people. They were supportive of black education, black rights, like General Forrest. So these will go to help tell our story. Yeah, Stonewall Jackson, black education. So I think this helps us tell that story of the Confederate veterans and the emancipation story. So this collection is of postage stamps and coins that the federal government's put out featuring Confederate images. Stone Mountain is featured in a lot of these coins that you see on the left. These all came from the U.S. Mint and large medallions. Also, the 50-cent piece that was put out in the 1920s. The postage stamps that have Stone Mountain on them. Then you have the Jackson and Lee stamp. You have the last Confederate reunion stamp. And then in the 1990s, they put out the Civil War collection, a series of, I think, 12 stamps. Or no, excuse me, I think it's 16 stamps that they put out in the 1990s. And many of them, half of them at least, were Confederate images. So this is all part of the collection of Major General John H. Forney of Alabama. He was from Jacksonville, Alabama. He ended up, I guess his claim to fame was being at Vicksburg when it was captured. He held the center line and repulsed the Yankees, I think, twice before the city was finally surrendered. But he
It's only half time.
Yeah, he has a statue on the Vicksburg battlefield. These are his binoculars. We have his Southern Cross of Honor. That's his service pistol and his powder flask. And I think on the top shelf there is his compass that he with him. So great personal items from General Forney. And these are on loan, permanent loan from the General Forney UDC chapter in Jacksonville, Alabama. And that's on top is his Army after West Point, was first lieutenant. So that's his regular Army photo. And then that's a picture, of course, as a Confederate general on the left. And the gallant Pelham. So when he was killed in Virginia, He was brought back to Alabama, and they had a funeral service for him at the First Baptist Church in Jacksonville, Alabama. This plaque is from that church. The church no longer stands, but while it was still standing, the UDC put this plaque on it sometime in the 1920s. Unfortunately, the church has been torn down, but the plaque still survives, and we have it along with 2 images of Gallant Pelham there. That is one of the original Brady cabinet cards. That famous image that you see of John Pelham, that was taken at Matthew Brady Studios. And the one that you see behind it is an enlargement of that, but it is an early 1900s enlargement in the convex oval frame.
Now, wasn't there something about one of Pelham's spurs got melted down to be a church bell or something like that? That was in that church?
It was included in some church. I don't know exactly which one it was, but I've heard that story too. I'm not sure if it was this First Baptist Church because it predates, of course, his death. The church did, so I don't know if it would be in that bell or if that was cast into some other bell. But I'm familiar with that story. Compatriot
Good job,
Ed,
Mason.
yeah,
Thank you.
compatriot Ed Butler from Tennessee made this case. Ed Butler is one of the finest men I've ever met. Not just saying that because he's a fellow Tennessean, but he comes to me a lot. He's an excellent craftsman, and we have several of his cases already at the museum. And he wanted to know what I needed. I'd like something to put our long arms in. So he designed this cabinet here, and we're starting to put the rifles into it now. And I think it's going to be a great addition to our museum. I want to thank Ed Butler for constructing this case for us. And we'll be loading it up with guns. That's just one side full right now. We'll put 5 more on the other side. We still have room for pistols and bayonets in the bottom part of it.
So we got some new flags.
Yes, we have a partnership with the Tennessee State Museum, and our original loan ended in February, so they came to replace those items just last week. So these items are brand new to our museum. This is the 11th Regiment Tennessee Volunteers flag, and what makes this so special is it's the second national pattern. These flags were not passed out to the troops. Very rarely were these given out to the brigades and regiments to carry into battle. So we think this might have been just a serve flag, but that it actually exists, that's so this is a really cool piece. And notice that Tazewell has a backwards Z in it. I thought that was a really neat quirk in the design there. Purpose, or if the guy just had the stencil turned backwards. So
it was probably one of Harrison's dyslexic ancestors that
I bet it was.
I want to thank you for bringing that up, Connor. That's really nice of you.
This is one of my favorite pieces, and I think we should be really proud as an organization to have this in our museum, because every museum that has a section on the war between this in their collection. This is a flag from the 14th Tennessee. This flag was issued to the brigade, to this regiment after Chancellorsville. Brand new when they got to Gettysburg. And they were part of Pickett's charge. They made it across the stone wall. They were at the angle, and the flag was captured by a Connecticut regiment. So this wasn't in many battles. It was just in Gettysburg pretty much. And captured on Pickett's charge. Can you imagine? But look at the battle.
Yeah, Archer's brigade, right?
I believe so. They're part of Henry Heath's division.
Yeah, so that'd have been Archer's brigade of Heath's division. So they were engaged on the first day and on the third.
On the 3rd, right. So this was captured on the 3rd. The flag made it past the stone wall, and that's where it was captured by Connecticut troops. But came back to Tennessee in the early 1900s, as with an agreement with the War Department. They started returning the captured Confederate flags, and the Tennessee Division has been very generous, along with several private donors in Tennessee, in getting these flags conserved. So this was probably conserved with SCV money, like car tag money. So if it Ronnie Mangum's events that he used to have on his property to raise money for conserving flags. But I'm so honored to have this in our museum. I think we should all be proud of that, because from what they were telling me at the State Museum, every museum in Gettysburg is chomping at the bit to try to get this in their collection right now. So,
oh, take that, Yankees!
All right, so this is leading up to some other items that we'll see. This is an illustration from Harper's Weekly, and it's showing the death of General Zollicoffer, and he was killed at Mill Springs, Kentucky. And Billy Zollicoffer is a familiar name to me because he was born in Murray County in a plantation not far from where Elm Springs is today. He went on to serve in the state legislature, was in the newspaper business, a very prominent figure in the Whig Party. And like many others, he fought in the Mexican War and then enlisted in the Confederate Army. And he was killed in Mill Springs, Kentucky, as I said. We now have on loan from the State Museum his sword and an original CDV of Zollicoffer. And I think we have images of those too.
Why, yes, we do.
There they are.
Looks like he's
I think that's
artillery. Looks like an 1841 artillery sword.
Yeah, that is. Don't know. This was not the sword he was killed with, so I'm not sure if this was his what he carried in the Mexican War with him, or if this was just another sword that he had when the war started and he carried until he got another sword that he was killed with. But this was from Zollicoffer. He's buried in Nashville, Tennessee, in the Nashville City Cemetery.
I'm trying to see.
All right, so this is adding to our Jefferson Davis collection. This painting of Jefferson Davis was done post-war, of course, by Cornelius Hankins. And Hankins was a Tennessee artist. And when he died, he had work hanging in, I think, 4 different state capitol buildings across the South. A very prolific artist. He did a lot of Southern heroes. The painting that we have of Jefferson Davis in the museum right now was also done by Hankins. So the State Museum brought this as part of the new loan. And if you want to go on to the next picture, I think of a rocking chair. This is also Jefferson Davis here. And this came from a house in Memphis, was where he lived for a short while. And I believe he gifted this chair to someone when he left, but this was from his home in Memphis. So not only do we have the debt that's come to us from Beauvoir, but we have a rocking chair that belonged to Jefferson Davis, the portrait of Jefferson Davis. And then if you turn around and look outside, you're looking at the statue of Jefferson Davis that came from Memphis. So glad to have these items that have provenance to our president.
Well, last month when we talked about the improvements of the restorations to Elm Springs and that water closet. Not
Right.
water closet, regular closet. So the closet has been fully removed, right?
It has. So this is what it looks like now. You can see we've taken the closet completely out. It was kind of a chore regular closet down on the bottom section, but in the top part of the closet, there was a water heater. There was an air duct. There was also electricity up to the room up above. So all of that had to be redirected or cut off. There were water pipes running through the back of the closet. Those had to be cut off. So now we have the room back to its original floor plan. I think the next picture shows this is the planned wallpaper that we have for that entry hall. And this is an 1850s pattern. And this trim color that you see right there, the little splotch that we have painted, that is an original color that we found when doing paint analysis in the room. So we know that color was there. It matches very well with the wallpaper design. And that's the period of time that we really try to portray on the tour there. We're trying to take the home back to an 1850s, because they wouldn't have been doing much modernization of the home. We want to look like it did when the Loonies lived there, when the war came in 1864. So people didn't just redecorate their house all the time like we do today. Once they had a wallpaper on the wall, it stayed for a good number of years. So an 1850s pattern would be perfect for our time design, our timeline rather, in the home. And this color is from the historic palette. We know it was there originally, and it ties in perfect with the wallpaper. So that's the plans for the rooms. Right now, we're still trying to raise funds to get the wallpaper purchased. This is a large room. This room was, I think, 35 feet by 40 feet. So that's roughly 1,200 feet, square feet, right?
Sure, math.
But so you can imagine how much wallpaper has to be purchased to cover that much wall space. And I think it's going to take 30 double rows of wallpaper. And these are not cheap rows of wallpaper. But it's important to remember.
I was going to say, I
Go
bet
ahead.
you can't just go to Lowe's there in Columbia and get that exact print.
No, most of these wallpapers come from England. The ones that we're able to find, a lot of American makers don't have as good of a quality as the wallpaper makers in England do. They're still using a lot of the original wood block to make these wallpapers. So they're making them in the old style, just like it would have looked in that time period. And it's not cheap. But remember, though, this isn't being done with SCV money. This is all being done with donations. So people who have donated money to be earmarked for Elm Springs restoration and beautification, that's where this money's coming from, the Elm Springs Fund. So rest assured, your dollars aren't going to this. There you go. There's another one of our fundraisers, the Friends of Elm Springs. So that's a good way to support what's going on there. You can also go to our website and click on the donations tab, and it will bring you up every fund that the SCV has. And one of those is the Elm Springs Fund. And donate away. You can make your electronic PayPal donations through the website that way.
And remember, the SCV is a 501c3 charity nonprofit organization, so you can write it off on your taxes, especially if you win that
Absolutely
$500 million that's in the lottery.
Yes.
And you're going to be needing a good tax write-off for that, and we'd be glad to take it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I could give you 100 million reasons why to donate to the SCV.
Oh, now I believe. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead with that.
Go ahead. Talk.
No. It's still on the list. We got it. You can go ahead and do that one. We already popped it up.
All right. So we've talked about this on the show. We had the Stephen D. Lee Institute in Columbia, Tennessee this year, and one of the speakers this year was Mr. Dan Dorrell. He's also a Tennessee compatriot, and he did a wonderful talk on religion and the Great Revival in the Confederate Army. and I believe Dan works for the American Bible Society, and he presented us with this 1861. I'd call it a soldier's pocket Bible, and this is an 1861 print of the American Bible Society's Bible, and this will be going into our religious section pretty soon. We haven't got a picture of it in the cases right now. It's still in the archives, but we'll be working that into our collection pretty soon. Thank you, Dan, for that donation.
That is fantastic.
All right. So speaking of SD Lee,
there's the beautiful Kayla and the beautiful Miss Linda Boshears. Both of them caterers for the weekend. They were responsible for the banquet we had Friday night and the lunch that was served at Stephen D. Lee on Saturday. So these are pictures of the spread they put out for everyone on Friday night. And this is one of the sandwiches they had ready for everyone on Saturday. And boy, if you left hungry, it was your fault. There was plenty of food, and I think everybody enjoyed it. But I appreciate the hard work those ladies do. And up there at the podium, this is the War Memorial Building in Columbia, Tennessee, or as we call it here, just the Memorial Building. There is Forrest Dawes at the podium. He's given his talk on the history of the SCV, and I thought that was a very nice program. And I'm not just saying that because he's Papa Moose, but I think he did a good job. And looking forward to the finished product. I know he's still learning more every day about the history of the SCV, but I think everyone there enjoyed his talk. And there were a lot of great speakers that day.
If only some young upstart production company would start shooting a documentary on the history of the SCV as well as its impact with its current membership, and would start filming that hopefully this Saturday.
If only.
And here's another one of the speakers. This is, I don't know if you can tell, I thought this was a good picture. We had Mr. Rick Revel recording the event and all the speakers. And that's Ben Sewell at the podium, one of my predecessors, the past executive director of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And he's talking about how things were at HQ when he arrived.
And he did not have a signature stamp.
No, he did not. And I don't either. Yeah, so he set that precedent, and I'm following it.
So really quickly to received email containing newly discovered information. Okay, so that's good news. Good job, Forrest. Glad that you could join us. 35 minutes into it.
He's had a long work day. You be nice to my father. Real quick with Dave. Dave, I'll help you out. Don't worry.
Okay.
I
see it started now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the one question that David Daniels asked about earlier. When's the next dessert party? But I can't find it to pull it up. So, hey, Adam, when's the next dessert party?
Well, we usually have those in February. We didn't have one this year, but I think if we can schedule that in conjunction with the Boyhood Home event, the homecoming over there, we'll have one on that date. And I think it's June 15th, I'm thinking. So we'll have it that evening.
Well, that'll be fun. And of course, I really hope that y'all have desserts up there this weekend at the GEC meeting. It's not every day that your favorite co-creator of SCV Chat turns 31. I need some consoling.
Well, there will be a homemade coconut cake there. So, Ayla's doing that.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you for killing 37 minutes.
You're welcome. Need me to talk about anything else?
Well, I have something that I was going to talk about, and knock on wood. The last episode I was on, because of my work schedule, I got called into something and had to jump off. And then the following week I was dead to the world after the event I just finished. But for those that are interested in some potential technological advancements, we've got a little something. But before we pull that up while I'm getting it ready, Moose, do me a favor, play the long video.
Okay. And tonight's Pop-Tart break is sponsored by Adam Southern.
I was about to say we don't have a sponsor for this season. So if you have a business and would like to sponsor, call us.
It's also going to be sponsored by a video that we'll be posting tomorrow that we're going to ask that you all share. Flood social media with it. You'll be seeing it shortly.
I got into the SCV after receiving an award back when I was in high school. I had no clue what the SCV was. All I knew was that it was a rebel flag and it was supposed to be racist. I decided I would go and look further into it. Everything that we're taught from a very young age is that the Confederacy was wrong. They were treasonous. But it turns out it wasn't just because the South had slaves. This is because of a very fundamental principle of big government. There's nothing more American than keeping the government in line. It's what we were bred to do. It comes down from 1776, Declaration of Independence. It's because we decided to keep a government that we deemed tyrannical in line. That's what the true definition of the cause is. Me being a young black American and being a part of the Sons of Confederate Veterans is a shock to a lot of people. The black Confederate soldier would have had to have been one of the hardest working soldiers there was. These are men who decided to take up a cause because in the end, it was their own cause. In fact, most owners wanted the slaves to stay back because that was how they were steadily making income. They made a choice to do something that was bigger than themselves. And that's why, as a black Confederate now, it is my duty that I owe them to do something greater than myself. Confederate history is American history, and you cannot separate the two. I am Sammy Travis, descendant of Private Benjamin Rowe, a Confederate veteran.
That's one of my favorite videos.
Yeah, a lot better than the first one they ever did.
Yeah, a lot better than that one they did on Adam Southern too. I hate
Yeah.
to hear my voice. So
Yeah, me too. And plus, we need to reshoot them because we've lost a lot of weight since then.
I've lost a lot of hair since then.
I wasn't going to go there.
I
Out of love,
wasn't
out of love, I wasn't going to go there.
A lot more
All
gray,
right.
lot less hair.
That just shows that we
What do we
care.
have here?
Well, so part of the thing that we're doing this season is technological advancements for the SCV, things that we can use to help our organization move forward in the 21st century, as well as communicating with ourselves and the general public. And one of the things that has really taken off in the past, past 2 years is AI software. And we lost Adam, and we've got Adam back. So this is the AI software I use. It is free. It is called Chat GPT Golf Papa Tango. And I'll send out a link to it later on, or just Google it. And see, Jack, who is 14, 15, 14, 15, who's a newsletter editor for his camp,
15.
uses this when he is short on time. So yeah, this has a fairly different I'll just use an example. So let's just say write a news release about SCV camp. Somebody give me a camp name and number.
Samuel R. Watkins, Camp 29.
Sam R. Watkins. What's the number?
29.
29 from, give me a location.
Columbia, Tennessee.
Columbia, comma, TN. Now give me an event that y'all have recently done.
We did a Southern Cross Honor ceremony.
Dedicating a Southern Cross of Honor for, who was it for?
Lieutenant Howlett.
Spell that.
Howlett. Yep.
2 T's. I was one off. Howlett, buried in
Culleoka, Tennessee.
Oh, God Almighty.
Culleoka.
Hold on.
EOKA.
Okay. EOKA, comma, TN. Highlight the importance of honoring Confederate history and all veterans. Boom! See that?
That's awesome.
It's beautiful.
So,
Where was that when I was in college?
yeah, no kidding. So, and of course, Brandy, who works at Beauvoir, Jefferson Davis's last home in Biloxi, Mississippi, go visit after you visit Elm Springs or while you're on a trip through the South. I introduced this to Brandy a couple months ago. It saves her time. It saves everybody time. If you're not the best grammatical person or the best speller, or if you're cramped on time because you're an executive director of a nonprofit and we don't pay you nearly enough, then all you have to do is just type in what you want and it'll immediately type it out. Let's say we don't like this draft. Guess what we can do? Does it again. Always, always, always reread over it to see what you like, what you don't like, change it, add in stronger language, take out, certain points you don't like. No, we do need authors.
We just don't need newspapers anymore.
Yeah. Well, still, I mean, even I sent one out a couple of weeks ago about a museum. It was never printed and it was never picked up on the news, but about a museum and a mural in Vicksburg, Mississippi getting spray painted by somebody who is pro-Confederate, but we don't support or condone vandalism of any type or anything like that. To us, that's the same thing as people vandalizing a marker or a monument. And I was able to do that, but a lot of camps, a lot of hey, here's one.
I got something real quick. And this is more on the Lieutenant Commander in Chief's, statement. I wouldn't say that. I think this can be a tool for a camp that doesn't have a chief of heritage operations or someone with knowledge of press releases or someone just starting out, this is kind of a good way to get a template. But if you already know how to write one, by all means, keep writing it. But I think this is more for the people who aren't used to that, is what we're trying to get across.
I think that's a good point, Moose. And it does take practice to know how to do a good release. And this gives you the basic format. Looking at what it just prepared right here, that's all you need to get started. And just follow this same example for every other event that you have.
Right. Or change your prompt to at least get ideas. And I always like you just said. So the the site is Chat GPT. But let's say that you're a new camp or even an old camp that wants to try to advertise your camp. You get some free spot in a local newspaper, or you're trying to describe something on Facebook. Here's one, join the SCV Rankin Grace Camp 2278, keeping Confederate heritage alive. Where it talks about, what the SCV is. What it does is there's about 10,000 books that were scanned into this computer or artificial intelligence brain, and it figured out how to do the English language. Well, then they cross-referenced it with the internet, which can be good and can be bad. And then they take certain key words, phrases, and it spits it out very quickly. It is not a substitute for real human input. You are correct, but it is a tool that can be used by our camps when coming for recruiting and things like that. Case in point, a couple of weeks ago, we did a talk on how to recruit millennials and Zoomers and other people like that, and a comprehensive recruiting analysis or recruiting plan. Going to go ahead and go ahead and tell you the outline for that evening's episode came from ChatGPT. Now, we had to take it and we had to morph it some, and we had to make it fit. Definitely had to make it fit what we were talking about, but it gave us an outline. It's a way for you to, if you have an idea on, easy fundraising ideas for a 501c3 nonprofit in the South.
Well, Miss Linda, that goes back to making sure you reread it. Don't just copy and paste it. This is a tool, like we said, for people who are not used to this, needing an idea, but always reread it. Always add some of your own words to it. But no, I don't think they've ever utilized Wikipedia as a reference for the SCV.
No, and the stuff that they put in there, you don't want to use it for anything academic based. You definitely don't want to write an article about Raphael Sims. It's gonna spit out a bunch of garbage.
No, don't do that.
I was using this to when I was first testing it out on a speech that I was writing. And I couldn't figure out exactly how to say what I want to say. So I put the entire text of the speech in there. And I had forgotten to put in the actual quoted text from Jefferson Davis that I was using. I knew what the quote was, but I didn't remember it verbatim. And it pulled a Robert E. Lee quote and put it in there for Jeff Davis. But I had in my parentheses notes, insert Jeff Davis quote here. So again, that's a good point. Always check. It's not always going to be authentically right, but as the more that you work the prompt, the more information and details, like we did in the first example, where the camp was, who the lieutenant was. If I'd have put, the name of the cemetery, the date that it happened, it learns and it will generate a response towards that.
Yeah, for sure, like GCB said, not for academic use. You still need to have an educated historian write articles for you. I don't think technology is ever going to surpass us in that. They're always going to get information wrong, especially about the war between the states with how everything is right now. But again, for stuff like we're showing you, fundraising ideas, press releases, stuff that maybe you don't have anybody in your camp that's knowledgeable on these things.
Wording for advertisement.
Right.
Write a Facebook post. Well, oh, that was a bad echo.
Just
Write a pro Confederate, pro Sons of Confederate, Confederate Veterans Facebook post. Keep it to 140 characters. It could help you with that.
Yeah, it's the stuff we're showing you again. I wouldn't use it just, for everything, but, stuff if you really need it. Like, for example, for me, GCB knows this because God bless him. He gets a lot of my speeches or my press releases for my camp, which luckily, thank the good Lord, we put that on our camp commander. Sorry, Dad. But, stuff that is about the camp, I'll always send it to him. And so he kind of knows. I've had a brain fart. I forgot where I was going with that. I completely forgot where I was going with that. I had a complete brain fart in the middle of that one. Dick nabbit. It was a good point too, Dick. That's what's making me mad. But, and Jack, that's a good point. You can do that. But, what I was saying is, I'm better with having a foundation. If you give me a foundation, I can write something. And so something like this really helps me out because GCB was having to do it before and he didn't even get paid. He just got, my support and 4 years of me following him around like a lost puppy.
Yeah. And see, this is the other great thing about it. If you don't like the particular one you get, let's say you're reading through it and you don't like that second paragraph, boom. So that's a pretty good letter to a board of supervisors. Let's use my county as an example.
Yeah.
So you want an easy letter writing campaign? There you go. So the tool, it is on just Google Chat GPT.
Yeah, that's what we use. And I mean, again, we just kind of started using this and playing with it. And it was like, this could be a massive tool for the organization.
And it's a new technology that, has come out within, like I said, the past 2 years. That's getting better. I mean, honestly, y'all, my opinion on it. Here's my opinion. My opinion. Views and expressions. Mine. This is going to be the downfall of Western civilization at some point in the near future. It is. It's 1984. The big talk or whatever I can't remember what they called it back in the day. But where they combined words and made it to where people couldn't think and wouldn't think for themselves. But it's a problem for 50 years from now that we're going to have anyway. So might as well use it to our advantage. You speak. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, it can be another tool in the toolbox. I'm you never know. Jason is not real. You've heard it first, people.
Yeah.
Our commander-in-chief is a robot.
I thought he was a T-Rex.
He is. They had to use some stuff from the draft.
So, Commander-in-Chief, this is what you've missed. SD Lee Institute was great. Thank you to Miss Linda and Miss Kayla for cooking. We're having coconut cake this past weekend. I'm going in reverse. Bunch of new stuff, new cases, new artifacts on display at the museum, including some flags and some pictures and a pretty cool plaque that was at a church dedicated to John Pelham, or dedicated by the UDC plaque for John Pelham. I think that's more correct wording. We have a new background.
Did y'all get my picture of the motorcycle?
No.
No, I didn't see one.
Okay. We just this past weekend, the mechanized cavalry was having their officers call at Elm Springs, so we had probably 150 bikers at Elm Springs this past Saturday, and the guys, our compatriots from Florida, donated a trike. They donated this trike, and this trike has custom paint on it, for lack of better terms. There's Confederate cavalry on one side of it. On the front of the trike, it has Robert E. Lee, and they've donated this to us for us to sell.
Wow.
So it has an appraised value of over $16,000, and they want us to sell it to raise money for the museum. So I don't know if you can check your email now, or I think I sent you messages on Facebook with the picture, but if not, we'll talk about it next time. But we'll be putting this out for sale pretty soon. And
If I buy the $16,000 bike, will you ride it?
yeah, I'll ride it, as long as you don't tell my wife.
I made my mama 2 promises. I wouldn't ride a motorcycle. I wouldn't get a tattoo till after she passes away.
Well, that's kind of the same thing I've told my wife and mother too. I wouldn't ride a bike. I wouldn't buy a bike, but I will ride one. So if you buy it, I'll ride it.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Thank you, Miss Linda. I will check my email after the show. Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief Kennedy will be looking forward to seeing you this weekend at HQ. Remind me, I have an email to send you.
Yeah, it's in the drafts folder.
Yeah, and I just noticed it.
I didn't pull up ChatGPT and finish our email.
But ChatGPT is so easy. I've signed up just while y'all were talking, so I'm ready to go.
Well, now your thank you donation letters, you can spice them up a little bit.
Oh, well, I'm all about the spice in life. So,
I mean, that's variety is the spice in life.
Oh gosh.
No, hey, no, we're not judging you if you're not scratch your rib. That's Carl who's doing that.
Carl's
talking about bones.
I'd just be impressed if he could scratch his knees.
We're all getting fired.
It's been good being executive director for 5 years. It's been a good run while it lasted, Joe.
Adam's getting fired as
Got
executive
some
director.
Coloca, y'all got some chickens.
Yep.
We're getting
I can
pulled
hear-
off the air. It's all
I can
gone
hear-
down.
I can hear Kayla in the house now. Don't you get fired? I gotta get goats.
No, she's not getting goats. She's wanting goats and a donkey. I've put my foot down.
Hey, J-Bo, what do you think about the new background? The movie
Oh my
background.
gosh. Yeah, well, at least we're not getting fired yet.
Yeah,
That's
that's
an
a key word.
comment. Yet is a very good keyword I threw in there just for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
Adam Cigar's going out. I've got to go eat supper. Moose has got to do Moose things. You know, we haven't mentioned it once this episode yet, but for those that don't know,
I am just a simple broke college student with no money.
so he's got to go do moose things.
I'm getting my Nerf gun ready for him.
Background, is that what y'all are calling it? Oh, that hurt.
That's what it's called on the StreamYard. It's called backgrounds. It's
Yeah, we got a First National, a battle flag, and a cannon.
and some Confederate money with John C. Calhoun on it.
That stares at Adam every time.
Dude's scary, man. Dude terrifies me.
He's been watching Adam more than the Santa's been watching me this episode.
Wait for it. Give it a second.
I cannot wait for this comment. This is going to be great.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
What? Oh, God.
There! He's looking at you. All right. Well, for the people that are still watching, we appreciate we appreciate y'all sticking with us. We hope that y'all have enjoyed the news that's happening at your headquarters. We hope that you can take this knowledge to what little bit we shared on ChatGPT. We'll talk some more about in the future, I'm sure. So just go try it. Just go try it. You know, just what's going to hurt?
Won't bite. We promise.
Who knows? It may, put out a couple good Facebook posts. All right, in the words of the late great Harold Wilcox, tomorrow in the elevator.
Oh,
Predator fry.